Hey everyone, and welcome to Comics from the Multiverse, the DC Comics podcast from MailFuzz TV. I am Peter, and joining me as always is Matt.
Hey, what's up?
And apparently, for revenge reasons, Connor decided to take a week off. I kid. He's sick. He's ill. If you want proof of sickness, go check out our recent Star Trek Discovery finale review, and you can hear him sound like actual death. He was struggling badly. But we did talk about DC Comics on this show, talk about comic books. And coming up on this week 3, which has been typically a later week recently, we have 4 books. You can count them on one hand.
Yeah.
I got you for 4 books of playtime.
Yep,
Right?
I like these weeks.
I don't know, this is a bit too quiet for me. I feel like 7's a nice kind of number. I feel 7, 8. That's a good healthy week.
Yeah, well, look at next week as I'm doing right now, and
We'll get to that at the end, Matt. Let's not jump ahead. Matt's ready to wrap up. No. So coming up on this week's show, we have Batman 69, good number, Justice League 22,
nice,
Aquaman 47, and Naomi issue 4 to round out the show. Connor would have been doing his Patreon pick of Red Hood this week, but he'll have to do that next week now, on a busy week.
I might be sick next week. Just throwing it out there.
So, yeah, that's what's coming up. Because it's a later week, though, I did ask on the Twitters at DC Comics Podcast for questions, which many of you graciously sent us in some questions, and we're going to talk about those. We'll respond to those first, probably, then talk about books, and then, who knows where the show will take us. Who knows? It's a weird week. It's a week where you can expect some tangents, I think.
Yep. Many tangents.
I think that's okay. I think every podcast needs a tangent episode once in a while.
Yeah.
All right, so there you go. There was no news this week, at least nothing specific to comic books. Other than Doomsday Clock got delayed another week. But I mean,
is that news at this point?
I don't think so. If anything, it's news that it didn't delay. If it goes a week without delaying, now it's on like May. Week
22nd.
4, week 4. Yeah. So I actually hope it gets moved one more week at least, just so it's on week 5 when it's a bit quieter. That'd be nice.
Yeah, that'd be, it's gonna have a big meaty conversation about. So
yeah, we could
it's
spend.
Always nice when it's on a slow week.
We could spend an hour on Doomsday Clock easily.
Easy.
In fact, we have done many time. So. I'll go straight to questions then. I'll go to the bottom. Let's work our way up. So from Let's Talk Cold, as in Captain Cold. So what post-Rebirth arc, any book, from DC would make the best movie?
Talking live action or animated?
I'm going to assume live action. I feel like live action is the assumed unless otherwise stated.
Okay then. This changes.
Issue 8 of Wonder Woman, Barbara Ann, the Indiana Jones adventures.
Well, yeah, no, I mean the whole Wonder Woman Rebirth, that first year. I think that would make a cool movie.
I feel like you get 2 movies out of that. I feel like you get maybe even I could see a trilogy out of that. Honestly, you got year 1. That's a movie, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, not that you necessarily want a year 1 movie after the first Wonder Woman movie, but that could be a movie, and then. I would say between the follow-up stuff to that and then like the 2 arcs of like present day stuff, I feel like there's 2 movies in there.
Yeah.
You got Cheetah, you got Kale, you got all these things going on.
Yeah, a lot going on, a lot of stuff with the gods.
Yeah.
Ares there. I almost wish that Rucka story was the Wonder Woman movie. I mean, the World War I stuff was fine and whatever. Like that was bold, picking it to go there, but. There's a lot of crossover with that origin with the movie, Yeah.
Well, look at other stuff. I feel like the obvious things to say are like war jokes and riddles, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Trying to go with. Man, there's a lot of stuff that more lends it to animation. Like I like the Tomasi Superman stuff, but like animated.
Oh sure. Yeah, like Supergirl being super, which is technically not Rebirth, but it's post-Rebirth. Yeah. Like, I could see that being a really good animated movie. I could totally see that.
Yeah. And I'm trying to go through some of these other ones. Actually, if they ever made a Batgirl movie, something in the style of that first arc that they did. I think that's Hope Larson, right?
Yeah, Hope
Where
Larson.
she goes to Asia and investigates the stuff that's going on. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I could see that. I feel like obviously we all love Detective Comics from Tynion, but I feel like that's more of a TV show.
Yeah, that's definitely more of a TV show.
Yeah.
Because there's whole issues that make that work that just you don't have that much time in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like all the Clayface stuff. You know, that would be like an episode.
Yeah, it all needs time to build. Yeah, absolutely does. Yeah, that'd be my main answers, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably like some of the smaller stuff that could be a good movie.
I think Silencer would be a fun style movie. Like you just mix that whole arc together.
Yeah,
I'm sure you couldn't do the theme park because that's way big. It's probably out of the budget.
Yeah, Silencer.
That story.
Silencer ain't getting that budget.
Yeah.
Silencer will be lucky to get $50 million budget.
Yeah, but I could see a John Wick style movie where she's going after Talia. You know, to get her life back, basically. Sideways could be a fun. I think a lot of those because they feel so independent. You know.
Well, the good ones at least. I'd say actually, here's one: animated New Superman.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, or just call it Justice League of China. I'm cool with that. Just call it Justice League of China. And as a follow-up to this, also asked, what is the best art from DC Comics not made into a movie? His would be Blitz from Flash.
Now, are we counting Long Halloween in because it's been used in Dark Knight?
Yeah, but I mean, the extent of his use in Dark Knight was basically, I believe in Harvey Dent, and then one scene of like jump, from this, the Batmaning off the roof scene. Like that is the plot of Long Halloween was not used.
Because the Long Halloween movie, I think, would be super cool. That like it just paced out over the course of 2.5 hours, and you go through that year with the different. Again, we talk about it lend itself to TV. Each month would be a different episode, but I feel like a movie they could do with the Holiday Killer and.
I feel like Long Halloween feels more like a movie to me, whereas like it's interesting that you brought up Blitz there because obviously that run's fantastic, but the Flash John's run feels like a TV show. It feels like much better than the Flash show we actually have for the record
right now. That said, Godspeed, I've seen that all over Twitter.
Yes, I have watched that episode. It was pointless, but
crap. Yeah, I've been out on the DC TV shows just because I wasn't enjoying watching them, and it felt like homework. So once they all go to Netflix, I'll be okay. I can watch them at my leisure. I don't have to worry about the app not having them up because I waited too long. But yeah, I saw Godspeed on Twitter, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Josh Williamson was like, this is like one of the coolest things that ever happened. So
actually, my go-to answer for this is actually Justice by Jim Krueger and Alex Ross, because that is like if I wanted a DC movie with just like every character in it that was just this big epic, everyone's involved. Like that's probably the one I pick. It's kind of this ode to Silver Age comics, and it's like I may pick that.
I like Morrison's Action Comics run, just like its own standalone thing. Like,
Blackest Night.
Yeah, Blackest Night, of course.
Easy.
Most of John's is Green Lantern. We need a good Green Lantern movie. Like, adapt any of that stuff. Just don't have a giant shit cloud.
Yeah, here's your Green Lantern trilogy. You do Secret Origin, you do Sinestro Corps War, you do Blackest Night. That's your trilogy.
Yep. It's easy. Oh, man, we used to be able to say Shazam, and then they went and gave us a good Shazam movie, so now we can't say that.
Shazam!
But, yeah. So, I'm trying to think of some other stuff, some of my favorite stories that... A lot of my favorite stories don't lend themselves to movies that well. Because there's like the Paul Dini detective run, where Riddler's trying to prove him that he's a better detective than Batman. So he opens up his private detective agency. Like, I don't know if he can get a movie out of that. But
Yeah, like
it's a great concept.
one of my go-tos is often the Brian Q. Miller Batgirl, but again,
Yeah.
I'd want that as a TV show, not as a movie.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a lot of comic runs and properties that just lend themselves more to like a continuing TV show.
It's the serialized storytelling aspect of once a month, you know. But yeah, I'm trying to think of some other ones. I don't have it on my head, and it's hard. I'd have to dig into some of my favorite runs, and look.
Black Mirror.
Wait, what? Oh. First I heard Black Matter, then I heard Black Mirror, and then I thought the TV show,
No.
and then it clicked that you're talking about Batman.
Yes, Batman, the Black Mirror. Yes, on our DC Comics show, I'm talking about Batman.
Yes, I know, but it just came from out of nowhere. You're just like, Black Mirror. And I was like, wait, what did you just say?
Oh dear. All right, next up from @CoreyYNWA, question for all, but especially for you.
Mm-hmm.
So good job I didn't say Connor, because that'd be awkward, because Connor's not here.
Yep.
Would you rather have Jason Todd become Batman in Detective Comics, Batman, and Justice League for 40 issues, or have Lobdell write and Mankey wrote both Action and Superman for 20 issues?
This is easy. I saw this last night.
Yeah. Mankey's a weird Mankey's a good artist.
Yeah, but maybe not on Superman.
Not sure.
Because the shadows and whatnot. But that said, you keep Lobdell away from Superman. I've already done the stance, and I quit reading the book then. So, sorry guys, you have to deal with Batman. I will gladly sacrifice Batman to Lobdell.
Yeah,
for 40 issues.
You're sacrificing 3 books, one of which is the team book.
Yeah, and?
With Superman on it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't care. Keep him off of Superman. It was already got awful as it was.
I mean, this is a real catch-22 here. I feel like for me, I don't really want either of these things, obviously, but I mean, like. Cause
I don't think Lobdell should have to have he shouldn't be responsible for a team, so I feel like the Justice League one that's a bit of a stretch too far, but I would gladly give up Batman and Detective Comics to him to keep him off of Superman,
well, no, Lobdell's not on the Batman books, Matt.
He's not? Just Jason?
It's just Jason Todd's become Batman in all these books.
Oh, that's fine. That's even easier. I thought Lobdell was writing both of them. Oh, that's fine. I'll deal with shitty Jason. I read Tynion's Red Hood and the Outlaws, and he didn't annoy me nearly as much. For that short arc.
Here's the thing, though. This question is basically asking me, do I want to give up all Superman books for 20 months or all Batman books for 40 months? That's what it's essentially saying.
But that's the thing, though. I feel like I don't like Lobdell as a writer more than I don't like Jason as a character.
That's so. I probably feel the same way, admittedly, if I think about it.
Yeah, in the right hands, Jason could be handled. If the whole point of him is to be this is how crappy he is as Batman. It's almost the reverse Dick Grayson. When Dick became Batman, you're like, oh, this is awesome.
This is a cruel question. I don't like it. It's funny because I feel like that my instinct is to say, okay, give me the bad Superman for 20 months just because it's half the time. Although I get that with double shipping, that's not necessarily true anymore, but just go with me, right?
Yeah.
However, I feel like Superman as a character has had more shit to put up with in the last 10 years, so it doesn't feel fair to just say that and use that logic. So, I don't know. I guess I'll agree with Matt, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like any of it.
Yeah, I definitely see there's more upside to Todd as Batman than Lobdell writing Superman. Because, again, we already have a bunch of it. I forget how long he was on that, but it's very ungood.
It wasn't a super long time, but it felt like a long time because we wanted it to be done. Yep. So next up, @Tim3Robin, current Justice League run, pre or post Doomsday Clock. Will the DCU ever really acknowledge Doomsday Clock's events?
I think eventually, yes. I think once we get introduced to Justice Society and Legion back into continuity, I feel like they'll reference something. Maybe it'll be one of these crises where they don't remember everything, kind of like Flashpoint. But at the same time, the ramifications will be felt across the greater. Maybe only Superman remembers.
I hope so. I am starting to worry it won't. and it'll feel this odd, like, just contained thing that, well, it should be felt throughout the whole universe. Like, Didio and co just don't want to actually deal with it or actually let it affect anything. I'm a little concerned that it's going that way. Which is a shame, because I feel like for a lot of DC fans, Doomsday Clock is what the DCU is really doing right now, and everything else is just fun clutter until we're done with Doomsday Clock.
Yeah, I mean, more on that when we talk about Justice League, you know. But like, it's strange, like this big grand story is being told at the same time as this other big grand story, and it's almost like editorial's like, yeah, sure, whatever, just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
To both of them, you know.
Yeah. So I hope so, but yeah, I can't really blame anyone for feeling dubious about this right now. Back to that Corey White NWA, who's like, because it's a quiet week.
Yep.
These are totally off-topic questions, but whatever. I don't really have an answer for this first one because it's been so long since I've watched the goddamn show. But what's your favorite Simpsons episode?
Oh, easy. It's I don't know the name of it, but it's one of the Sideshow Bob episodes, and it's Cape Fear with an E at the end. Well, it's just essentially Cape Fear, and the Simpsons have to move, and Sideshow Bob's coming after him, and there's the rake bit, and then Bart's all jumpy because he keeps getting letters written in blood, and Homer comes in to want to show him his new chainsaw and hockey mask, and it just kills me. Such a good episode. There's so many of these little bits.
I haven't watched The Simpsons in like 15 years. I watched a lot of it for the first like 5 or 6 years, but I don't really remember a whole lot of it now.
Yeah, my Simpsons watching is like pre me being with Ashley and the post, because once I was together with her, there was like, I don't have to watch all of these, you know, like Sunday nights I can go out and do stuff.
I thought you were going to say that's when it went downhill. It's like you and Ashley are blamed for The Simpsons getting bad.
No, but I did. Dana Gould has pointed out, because he worked on the show, and he's a stand-up comedian and a writer, and he created Stand Against Evil and whatnot. But he's realized that whenever you're the ages of like 11 through 15, that's the best Simpsons, and everything else is, that's where the show went downhill. Once you start getting up in those upper, and the show changes and whatnot. So, but yeah, early Simpsons I still like. When they did the Every Simpsons Ever marathon, when they came to FX, like just being able to turn that on at certain points.
All 500 episodes.
Something like that. So,
yeah.
But yeah, it's quite the thing.
It got renewed for 2 more seasons this year.
Yeah, people still watch. It's just. I feel like now the episodes I haven't seen outweigh that I have seen.
Oh, sure. They totally have. Yeah.
Because they've been around since '89, right? So
same year I've been around since, for the record.
Yeah. So we're coming up on like 29 years. Yeah. They're on like season 30, I think, right now. Yeah. So if I stopped watching 13 years ago or so, 13, 12. It's almost like that. I mean, there's more episodes I haven't seen than have.
That's weird. That's really weird. And the other one is greatest Seinfeld episode ever, that's a tough question. Like, Seinfeld's something that I've watched a couple times all the way through my adulthood, so I'm a much more ready to talk about Seinfeld. Yeah. But Jesus Christ, best single episode? I don't know. I feel like
I like the Chinese food episode, the Chinese restaurant.
Oh yeah, when they just try to get in the whole episode.
Yeah.
Obviously everyone remembers the bet episode. I really like. It's not a single episode. I actually really like the season 4 arc, because it's the one season that has like a story going all the way through the season, and that's when they're trying to make the TV show based on themselves, which is basically Seinfeld. Yeah. And it gets really meta. I really like that arc.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like the Frogger episode. I think that was the first one I ever watched. Was that where George has the Frogger score and he doesn't want to give it up, so he buys the machine and tries to get it across traffic.
But they can't unplug it. So
because they can't unplug it, yeah.
They have to literally play Frogger across the road with the arcade machine. Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Soup Nazi is another classic.
Nazi. Lorraine eating the boss's wedding cake. That one cracks me up because it goes to a fantasy in her head of like this super fun, like ritzy party, and then it cuts back out to the footage of her, and she just looks like a crazy person. She's talking to herself and gesturing and whatnot.
Anytime George introduces himself as Arc Vandelay, an architect, I'm pretty much
Vandelay Industries. And you want to be my latex salesman?
Seinfeld's great.
Good show.
And then this one's a little bit different because Connor's not here. But each of you has to honestly, accurately give each other their DC character equivalent.
Yeah, I was curious to this one.
I mean, you're Guy Gardner. Let's be honest.
I knew you were gonna.
I don't have to think about it. You're just Guy Gardner.
I thought for you, you're the calculator, but a good version. Yeah.
I could have said the same about Guy Gardner. You're the Guy Gardner, but the good version.
I mean, there's only one version of Guy Gardner. So. But like, no, the way you are with keeping order and lists, and all of this other stuff. I just thought because the calculator remembers everything. So, and it's just constant input, or Oracle. You could be Oracle too. Like, you facilitate things.
I like that more than calculator. At Booster Green, is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yes. I mean, you wouldn't call it a hot dog sandwich, but it's a meat in between two pieces of bread. Therefore, it's a sandwich.
Yeah, I'll go with that logic.
You know what I mean? But if you fold pizza, it doesn't become a pizza sandwich. It's just a folded slice of pizza. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah. If you have one slice of bread with something on it, that's not a sandwich. No,
I mean, that's an open face. Like, it always cracks me up when they call that an open face sandwich. It's like, well, no. The fact that it's a sandwich means it's stuff in between two pieces of bread, as created by the Earl of Sandwich in the late 1700s. Which is where you get the name from, So, yeah, it's just an open face meal.
Asking the big questions here.
Yeah.
It's a bad sandwich. Is that good? Is that an accurate description?
Yeah.
Hot dogs. Like, I can eat a hot dog, but I always feel like I've just eaten garbage after I eat one. Like, it's always.
Yeah, it depends. Like, if you get this, so at work sometimes we'll have a barbecue and I'll just stick away from the hot dogs because they're the cheapest, just mushiest tubes of meat. But if you get a good solid casing hot dog, like a legit one from a ballpark or wherever.
Basically, you want a proper smoked sausage in there. You don't want just the
no, but there
hot
are
dog.
there's legit Frankfurters, right? That's the proper term for that style of meat. There are like a Dodger dog in LA. It looks just like a regular hot dog, but it doesn't taste like a cheap old hot dog.
It's been a long time since I've done this, but there was times in the past when I was in college or whatever where I'd go to see a movie afterwards and I'd be hungry because I haven't eaten since lunch or whatever, and it's like the only technically real food at the theater is a hot dog because everything else is popcorn or candy, right? And I'm like, fine, give me a hot dog, I'm hungry. But I always felt bad afterwards. I always felt like I had just poured meaningless crap into my mouth.
Yeah,
I was never satisfied.
So here, I don't know if you guys have 7-Elevens, but here our 7-Elevens, you can get a hot dog. And they have the cheese for the nachos just there. So you get a hot dog from 7-Eleven and cover it with nacho cheese. And while you're eating it, you're like, this is amazing. And then about 5 minutes after you're done, you're like, oh, what the hell have I wrought upon myself?
I've made a huge mistake.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I'm sorry, I don't know if any of that was a hot take on the hot dog fandom, but hot dogs kind of suck. They're edible, but they kind of suck. So finally, at SenPaku4444, what's your Batman chronological timeline? What events happened and how old is everyone? This is a deep question.
Yeah. So mine is Bruce becomes Batman, and he's the whole year one stuff happens and all of that. And even throwing the Snyder stuff. Point? What's that?
What age is he during year one? What was he?
He's about 25 or so. And then 5 to 10 years after that is where Dick comes along. And Dick's a little bit older. He's not quite the kid. He's probably 13, 14, prime Teen Titans era, and then when he turns 18 is when he becomes Nightwing. During this time also Babs becomes Batgirl. And in my head, she's always a little bit older than Dick. I don't know if that's canon or not.
I think that is. I think if you read Batgirl Year One, I mean, which technically may not be canon anymore, but I've always prescribed to this is Dick's Robin first, but she is a little bit older because he has a crush on her because she's like a year or two older kind of thing.
Yeah. And so it always just made she was older, so about this time, and then after he becomes Nightwing, that's when Jason comes in. He dies, and then Jason's probably about 16, a little bit older than Dick was, and then Tim Drake comes in. And Tim Drake's like 13. He's younger. I always put, but the big events that have happened, I feel like definitely the majority of, I want to say, Zero Year, just because Snyder's still such a prolific writer.
Nah, I'm tossing all that out. 0 Year never
You're
happened
tossing all
for me.
0 Year out?
That never happened
See,
for me.
I like 2/3 of it though. Like that's.
No,
I like that origin.
The
first third of it, I really like the stuff with the Red Hood and.
I mean, again, this is just kind of what our head continuity is, but
yeah.
Year One, and there's a couple of stories, Batman, the Monster Men, and Batman and the Mad Monk, which are like set right after Year One, are really good little things there. You get Batman Who Laughs by Ed Brubaker, which is your first time the Joker shows up kind of story. There's kind of a gap kind of back here, filling in between this and Long Halloween for me, but Long Halloween I've always kind of seen as like a sort of Year 3-ish kind of story, where a lot of the villains have been established by this point, and obviously we're doing the Harvey Dent and the Two-Face kind of thing. Dark Victory is kind of the following year, so I guess I'm having Dick Grayson as Robin about Year 4 of Batman.
Gotcha.
And then I mean, from there, I'm just kind of like post-crisis more than anything, I guess.
So do you keep the earthquake?
Oh, sure,
Stuff?
No Man's Land, the earthquake, Cass becoming Batgirl, all that stuff stays. As does Nightfall. I think Nightfall is an important part of the history.
Yeah, Nightfall has to happen. Yeah, like it definitely. That's the first time we get Dick as Batman, and then it gives away to Jean Paul and that whole thing. So,
yeah, I would say when Nightfall happens, Batman's in his like mid to late 30s, and then by the time Damien's around, he's like 45.
Yeah, that's where I put him about right now. Is him and Clark are both in their 40s. Definitely trying to distance from the New 52 of them being in their mid 20s.
I know.
Like, did not.
Somehow we're on our fourth Robin, but Batman's still like 27.
Yeah, it never made any sense. So, they're both about in their 40s or so. And of course, Superman doesn't have to look nearly as old as Batman because Kryptonian aging and whatnot.
Yeah, so. And Dick still went through New Teen Titans and all that stuff, and so on.
Well, that's why it's important for me to him to have a teen. He comes into it that time, and like I don't really need him to be running around with Batman a long time before the Teen Titans come around. Maybe
a year.
Yeah, like and the Teen Titans are his coping mechanism for having to deal with Bruce, because Bruce is still figuring out not only being Batman but being a father figure. Oh yeah. So that's why he bonds with Wally, who, in my head, Wally has such a better relationship with Barry, and Dick's kind of jealous of that.
And then Crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, this is... Yeah, but I guess that answers the question a bit. I could probably sit there and like do a chart or something and like really think this through.
This is why you're the Oracle.
But yeah, so there you go. But yeah, that'll wrap up questions. Mm-hmm. So thank you to everyone for sending those in, and obviously we have a quiet week. Probably the next thing will be in 2 weeks' time for week 1, because week 1 and 3 are quite quiet right now. So we can move on to books. So we'll start off then with Batman 69, Tom King writing with Yanick Paquette on the art. And I've still got Lee Weeks written there for some reason, which is not true at all. Yeah. So Final Nightmares issue. So and
just for that, it's going to increase my score, because we're done.
We're done indeed. And this is I'll say this, after reading the 7 Nightmares issues, I feel like if you'd condensed all these 7 issues down to 2 issues and just sort of montage through all these various nightmares, I might have been way more on board with it.
Yep, me too.
Stretching this out to 7 separate issues, I think hurt this arc a lot. Like, a lot. So, it's basically Batman's dancing with Selina, and they're going through all their various costumes, and he's essentially asking, why did you leave? Yeah, you left a note, but I don't believe you. Why did you really leave? That's like half of it. And then the other half appears to be Bane and Thomas Wayne in the real world, and this is Flashpoint Thomas Wayne, to be precise. Which, at first, I didn't realize this was meant to be the real world. At first, I thought, wait, is this just more of his nightmare? But as it went on, it became kind of clear that, no, this is actually just the real world somehow.
Yeah, if I could only ask Bane one thing, I would just ask him, please put some pants on.
Yes.
Like, bro, I get it, but, like, when you're doing jujitsu, put some pants on, please.
Yeah, I feel like he's staying flapping around would get in the way of
That's
of business.
There's pinch points, like. Yeah, it's not early Greek times,
Matt says that to all the ladies before he gets down with it. There's pinch points, ladies. Yeah. Pinch points.
Oh. But yeah, it took me a second to realize this was really going on too, and I wish we would have had more lead up to the Thomas Wayne stuff, besides the button, which is the only time he has showed up.
Yeah, and we only have like Batman sort of, because Batman's kind of realizing he's in a series of nightmares, and he's talking to Selina about it, how it's time to wake up and blah blah blah. And he basically theorizes why Thomas Wayne's working with Bane, and his theory is probably right, and it's an okay reason. Well, we have to get more on it, but it's basically that the Flashpoint Batman told him not to be Batman anymore. And he seems to be working with Bane because he wants Bruce to stop being Batman. He wants to break the bat, but not Bruce, if that makes sense.
Yeah, which makes no sense, because why would he work with this villain that's trying to overthrow law and order, where Thomas Wayne was about law and order as Batman more than anybody?
Yeah.
He used guns and shot people in the face.
Oh yeah, I mean, at one point he pulls a gun out on Bane, and he's like, "You cheat." Yeah. He's like, "No, I'm not like Batman. I win."
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, all right. I mean, I like their chemistry during the scene. And
I like that he out wrestles him with technique. Yeah. Like that was pretty cool, because it shows like, okay, so Bane's all brawn. Yeah, he's smart and whatnot. But Thomas Wayne is gonna outwork him and out technique him. And I think it shows that Bruce could also do this,
I took the ending, where Selina says, okay, the dream is done, it's time to wake up. I kind of took this as like, okay, you've had Selina on the mind, and that's been clouding your judgment and your everything you've been doing. Remember Cold Days when he snapped and like went too far with Mr. Freeze? Yeah. Everything you've been doing has been clouded with the fact that you've still got Selina on the brain. And she's like, the dream is done, it's time to wake up. It's like, no. So the idea being that when Batman wakes up, he needs to be focused again. He needs to actually be paying attention to Bane and not let his emotions get to him.
Because the whole reason this was able to get to him was because of Selina, because of the machinations of Bane, to run her off to fake LA in the Catwoman series.
Yeah. And maybe the other more interesting part as well might be that Selina says to him in the dream, "You don't love me," and he's like, "No, it's not true, Cat. I'm sorry. You don't know about how sorry I am." It's like. And because this is in his head, I have to read this as him worrying that even he thinks that he might not really have loved her in the way that, he's supposed to love her.
Yeah, and our friend James brings this up, why he has such a problem with King's take on Batman, is that he feels that King feels that Bruce has to be miserable to be Batman, to keep his mission in frame. And I don't know, I don't read it like that. I read it as if he's with Selina, then he's distracted from his mission, Well,
I'm reading it more that he's scared. The Batman himself is scared as that is true. That this is exploring the idea that he's considering that, and he's scared that he can't be happy because that might ruin Batman. And Selina was definitely worried about it. At this point, no, I feel like there has to be a resolution to this where some lesson is learned that kind of proves that to be false for one way or another. Otherwise, it would feel like the whole story of the whole run doesn't have a point. If it's just more and more misery and never has any kind of uplift to it, then it's just going to keep going downhill.
My whole take after thinking about each of these arcs and how they all fit together, I feel like King's overall message is Bruce can't do this on his own. No man's an
Mm.
island, and that's why he has the Bat family. That's what the story in the detective annual of them all getting together to take the picture. And yeah, a lot of those characters were out of character and their voices were off, but the point still stands is that he'll finally be happy when he realizes he's built this family to watch over
Yeah.
Gotham and whatever, so he doesn't have to do it by himself. Because even think of the Michael Lark issue, where we flash forward and he dies as an old man surrounded by the family, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So so I do feel like there's going to be a resolution. There has to be. Like King
Yeah.
knows where he's going.
I'm
It's just a lot of filler to get there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the big arc. I'm looking forward to City of Bane. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the next issue because we're finally out of Nightmares.
Yep.
But Nightmares has probably been the most struggling extended arc that we've had in the entire run.
Yeah, just because of the inconsistency. Like story wise, I didn't like I Am Suicide. I still hate that arc a whole lot, but it was cohesive, right? Whereas Nightmares, they were all designed to be these one shots and kind of showcase art more than the story, and it was very maddening because you never knew what you were gonna get.
Yeah, like they are. I mean, our here again's good. Paquette's a solid artist. I
Oh,
like.
it's top notch, and this and Lee Weeks I feel are the strongest
I think
art showings.
what I liked about this one, from our perspective, is just how different it was between the real world stuff and the dream stuff.
Yeah.
The dream stuff had all this sort of watercoloring kind of look to it, and the coloring, whereas the Bane and Thomas Wayne fight
and
looked
the
a bit more
panel
natural.
compositions.
Yeah.
In the dream, Paquette does what Paquette does, where there's these wavy lines and how the page breaks up. There's not like these
Yeah.
even corners.
Whereas the real
Versus
world,
the real world,
all boxes.
everything's straight.
Yeah.
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 So it's real cool, and I like the way he does Batman and Selina through their time, and we see the different versions, like on the boat, on the street. It keeps playing up to rooftops, and all, But yeah, this and the Lee Weeks, it's hard to say which I like more because both were really good.
I feel like this issue should probably stay as is, but the previous six should have been condensed into one issue and just been more of a kind of a quick ride through all these nightmares very quickly.
Or even two issues like you suggested before, like, and let this one be by itself, because there's a flow to the three of them.
Because I think this one maybe has the first real kind of dramatic beats that mean something. Like, this was the first time I think in this run where I clearly got what was being said between the conversation with Bruce and Selina. Knowing it's all in his head, I got what this kind of meant, and then having the real Bane and Flashpoint and Batman stuff as well on top of that. But this was the first one I felt like it was actually advancing the story in some way. Whereas the rest of them, I'm like, yeah, that could have been one or two issues all mushed together. Have it cut between different nightmares and sort of show, I don't know, make it even more weird.
Play with the dream logic a little more. Inception it up a bit. And but I do like how King uses this time to point out the story beats and kind of what they mean to Bruce. And like when he kind of knew something was up when when Constantine showed up. And then, as the question, he's questioning her. It followed those different ones, and he talks about how he had stabbed Damien, or whatever. I try to forget that issue. Mm-hmm. That issue really infuriated me.
I like that issue because of the art, but I mean, it wasn't.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I don't know.
So,
I'm glad Nightmares is over. I mean, as much as I think this was one of the better issues of Nightmares, I'm just glad it's over. Is kind of my thing. What are you rating Nightmares?
I'm gonna give this then, because again, I think I gave it a full point up, but I'm gonna give it 7.5. The art's doing a lot of the lifting, but I feel like we're in the clear now.
Yeah. Pardon me, folks. I'm gonna give it a 6.5. I think.
That's fair.
I just I'm glad Nightmares is over. I'm glad we can get back to actual story now. I'm ready for it. I'm just ready for it. So we'll move on then to Justice League issue 22. James Tynion IV, writing with Francis Manapul on the art, and we have a Legion of Doom issue, which I'm not going to lie, I kind of saw that in the cover and went, oh.
That said, I did not mind this issue because of continuity stuff.
It got interesting. Because I was a little bit worried early on, because most of this issue is the backstory of Perpetua and the creation of the Monitor, the Anti-Monitor, and the World Forger, and kind of her talking to them and setting them up for their jobs, and then what led to her being trapped in the Source Wall. This is what this story is, the backstory of that.
Yep.
So there is a bit exposition heavy kind of scenes there, which sometimes grate on me. However, I did find some interesting ideas in here. I did, as much as I'm typically like, I hate prequel things, I did kind of like the idea that this is set up by the Anti-Monitor wanted to like do Crisis. I was like, okay, all right.
So that's, as I'm reading this, I'm like, oh, so they all have jobs to do, right? And like the Anti-Monitor knows, like, he just plays a role in this, and I started questioning, then why in Crisis was he just destroying things? And then by the time we got to it, and this first crisis has happened. I think that's what this issue was called, right?
Yeah, first crisis.
The first crisis. That, the Monitor is responsible for basically him becoming irrelevant.
Because
so he's like, I'll show him.
Yeah, what happens is that Perpetua is raising an army because she doesn't want the cosmic forces to kind of... Because she's supposed to make the multiverse and move on. She's supposed to move on or die, is how it's put.
Yeah.
And she's determined not to do that. She wants to stick around, and that's not the natural order of things. And because what she's going to do is going to kill everything, the Monitor and these two brothers try and call the cosmic force. Which, my one concern here is that this cosmic entity that shows up to like put Perpetua in her place, I'm like, is this going to be the villain like 2 arcs down the line where this is the bigger thing that we have to deal with? Like, I'm like, can we not do that, please? But basically, this created the Source Wall that sort of is the edge of the multiverse, and that actually negates the job that the Anti-Monitor is supposed to do. And he's like, I will never forgive you for this. I am now redundant. How dare you? I'm going to start destroying worlds and multiverses and shit. And I'm like, oh, okay, let's set up Crisis. Okay.
I also like how the World Forger found Barbatos. And he's like, hey, look at what I found. He's my pet. And the Monitor's like, you probably shouldn't be messing with that. And he's like, that'll be fine. Like...
It'll be fine. Flash forward millions of years later to Dark Knight's metal. Yeah, that went well.
So I thought that was pretty fun. But yeah, just the whole crises, being set in stone now because of this, basically original sin of Perpetua, and what that will mean for Doom, because I'm still not quite entirely sure what a multiverse full of Doom is like, and I don't quite know what she was planning.
Every comic book's written by Scott Lobdell. That's a multiverse full of Doom.
Yeah, well, that's called not reading anymore. But,
I quit.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know what Snyder's going for with her and this whole army of that have been hinted at with the Martian / human creatures and whatnot, and I don't know what her actual plan was with this army, like, and how it's.
Well, I'm sure we'll see, because that'll be whatever she's trying to do again. Now she's out. So I did kind of like this issue overall. It might be one of the more interesting issues of the run, just because it does poke at all this DC history, and I kind of appreciated that. It was a bit exposition heavy. There's a little opening of like what's going on in the real world, or in present day, I should say, where the Legion of Doom show up to save the world because Mira and Starman are struggling with big decreator levels of
Jaro.
And Jaro, of course. I'm going to forget Jaro. But we've got big... I'm saying decreator because decreator is the thing from Doom Patrol, but it's essentially the same concept where Mixie's writing things out of reality. And the Legion of Doom show up with Batmite, which we guessed from last time. In fact, the comments pointed out that the box that he was in actually had the Batmite logo on it. And we just never recognized it. So yeah, it was actually if you knew Batmite well, you knew he was coming. Like he was on his way.
Which I don't know Batmite that well, so
no,
I'm a mixy guy.
So and that was fine. Yeah, that was good. So I don't have any sort of like huge criticisms of this one. I would say I've just been a bit just a bit exposition heavy at times.
Yeah, I'm learning that I definitely like Tynion more than I like Snyder. At this point. So, I mean, Snyder still has some moments, and don't get me wrong, he's decent, but I just feel like this big cosmic stuff
This
is a little bit outside of my realm of comfortability with him. You know,
comfortability.
yeah, like I'm more comfortable with his smaller like Batman stories when he tries to do these big cosmic things.
I think outside the realm of comfort would have covered you there.
Whatever, comfortability, whatever.
Comfortability.
I'm gonna create my own words, right? But yeah, like once his Batman run started to get into like machines, like trauma machines, and this whole thing, I just like, oh man, go back to the other stuff that I enjoy. But at least he's taking swings. I'm not gonna hate on him for that, but I feel like Tynion has a little bit more of a grasp on it and makes it more clear through these type of issues.
This is probably easily, for me at least, easily the best Legion of Doom issue.
Yeah.
It's the most interesting. Like, I was like, oh, is this gonna... Oh, I'm intrigued.
Yeah. Like when they showed up, Justice League style, and they're all standing there, and Grodd's got the baby turtle slung in his chest still, like that, and he uses the Still Force.
We're here to save the world, and then just behind him, Brainiac's got this look on him, he's like, if we must.
Yeah.
If we must. Yeah, so that was interesting. There's some interesting details in there. Mainly it was just, I mean, I think as a DC fan, it was just fun because how it was tying into, like, you know, Crisis, but...
Well, I like how I explained the World Forger, too, where he's almost the balance, he is the balance, not even almost, of the Monitor and the Anti-Monitor, where he just creates stuff, and it's not his job to determine if it's going to go forward or not, you know? Versus the Monitor, whose job is to watch and shepherd things, kind of, and the Anti-Monitor is meant to just get rid of things as they've run their course. You know, it's almost entropy manifest. So
that was interesting. Art was, I mean, obviously Manapul's good, but I thought this lended to his talents well, because once it shifted to all these flashbacks and these big cosmic ideas of like world creators and stuff, his kind of otherworldly kind of style here lent itself to the book. Made it feel different to normal. I almost wish the stuff in present day at the start and the end was a different artist, just to really show the difference between them. Yeah. Which is, I don't find myself saying that often about a comic book, but just in this case I thought, maybe because I almost think that if you show something like this with like Perpetua and like, you know, world builders and monitors and stuff, like I almost want it to be like more like get Fraser Irving to do this stuff so it feels like something, because I feel like the idea of like Perpetua and the Monitor, Anti-Monitor and World Forge, I feel like these concepts are so like big and cosmic that I want the art to kind of emulate that they feel like things that we can't comprehend as humans, because they're so out there. And I feel like, you know, some really abstract art would really go with that. And I think Irving would be a fantastic choice. But, you know, Manapul here was definitely, you know, different enough from normal comic book art that it felt like it was lending itself to it. So
yeah, and I'll never be mad at Manapul art. I love it. So.
Oh, of course. What do you give it, Justice League 22?
I'm going to give it an 8.
I'll give it an 8 too. I was debating the 7.5, the 8, but I was hesitant early on. I was like, what are we doing with this issue? But once it got into the meat of it, I was like, okay, I'm kind of digging this. So it's been better than all the 6 Dimension stuff.
Yeah, I kind of like the 6 Dimension stuff though. I wasn't here for the last one, but I like what it's setting up. There.
It's like I like conceptually some of the stuff it's doing, but I mean, we had a whole conversation last time about.
Yeah, well, again, it's Snyder and Tynion. I feel like Tynion. It's a little bit more adept at handling these bigger idea things than Snyder. So. Yeah. But yeah.
Which will take us on to Aquaman 47. Kelly Sue DeConnick writing with Robson Rocha on the art. This is the final issue in the first arc of this run, and we have Nana, the saltwater dragon.
Nama.
Yeah.
Nama shows her 3 different facets here.
Yep. One of which was very Joker-esque. I don't know if that was just me, but there was like a white woman with green hair, and I was like, that's kind of Joker-esque, that one. But it's fine.
That said, you know, hockey playoffs are on right now. The Sharks are the biggest rival for the Knights right now, and I've learned that the Sharks fans are Nama manifest. They are just beings of pure salt on Reddit, and I could not help thinking that as I read this. So
hilarious. So it turns out Aquaman, using his aquakinesis, calls in all the old gods who, you know, we found out all the people on the island were all these old gods. My favorite one, I need to get the name again because I liked the whale a lot.
Yeah.
What was his name?
So isn't that Tongoroa?
Yeah, it was like just Tang. They called him for sure. I think.
Tang. Yeah.
I liked him a lot. He was cracking me up.
Yep.
But,
Also, when the octopus dude comes in and Arthur starts trying to fight him, they're like, no, he's a healer. Like, let him have at you. I don't know. I know Aquaman's used to dealing with that type of stuff. Octopuses creep me out. So one comes at me to start grabbing me, I'm not gonna relax. So good on Arthur for being able to.
So basically what happens is, obviously a lot of this is just like the fight and kind of the underwater carnage of the thing. It looks gorgeous though, which is the main thing here. Just it looks great. But ultimately what happens is the old gods let Nama like absorb / eat them. And then Aquaman uses his aquakinesis to call to them to bring them forth again, and it rips Nama apart.
Yep.
It's actually kind of amazing.
And then he uses his call-out powers, the voo effect, to call brine shrimp to disperse the salt across, the oceans. Yeah, which I thought, nice use there, Arthur.
I thought I was being all fancy with aquakinesis, and that's like woo effect.
Voo. Yeah. I love it.
And then just when Aquaman might actually be in trouble at the end, he's grabbed by this water entity who is heavily implied here to me that is the god, the ocean god.
The father.
Yeah, the father. And he's actually kind of cool. He's this being made of water, just with like the one kind of like, what would you even call that in his face?
It's like a crest of some kind. Like it looks like a big plus sign, but. Yeah.
I like.
Also reminded me a lot of Adelan, the design.
I can see that. I really liked how in these few pages when he's being like saved and grabbed and then brought to shore. I like how there's like, almost no dialogue. It's just the art. It's just quiet, like just checking he's okay. Yeah. So then they give Aquaman tattoos because now he's one of them. So here's some tattoos to mark you. And I'm like, you try to make
Jason Momoa had tattoos. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah, that's cool by me. You get tattooed by the old gods, like you wear those with pride.
Yeah, that's basically the end of the issue. The final page is the father god comes back and gives him a trident.
Yeah, his trident.
Yeah.
So this is definitely, I feel like Kelly Sue tilting her hand that Arthur is now a sea god. Like it's since Drowned Earth, this is it. He is one of them. That's how he ended up there. And because he was the newest one, that's why he could still retain all these things. And it took him to remind the others of their greatness. If that's where the story's going, hell yes, I can get behind that.
Yeah, and then of course because the older gods like, hey, we can like we'll let you drink the thing next time, and you can
so he knows
remember who you are. So hopefully that means next issue we're going to get him having his memories back. Because we know we're getting to Black Manta and like Mira and stuff by issue 50, so we're getting up there. Yeah. This was issue 47, so we know we're coming to that stuff, which is cool.
Well, and also Callie, she's come to terms with being the Kalake, and so. She's like this half demon looking girl now, too. So I like that Kelly Sue's playing with all this mythology of the ocean.
Yeah, and she got that whole thing where it's like, yeah, you can choose if what's inside you is monstrous. Like that's up to you.
Right.
So I like that too.
Yeah. So a lot of good stuff. I was sad Abnett's run was coming to an end, but so far 5 issues, Kelly Sue's really killed it.
And it's different as well, which I like. I like there's a completely different take on it. And I think this first arc, it was nice that it was so cut off from the rest of the things. But we can get back to Mira and Atlantis and all that other stuff. But I was getting to the point where like, okay, I'm sick of Atlantis politics. We can get away from that and do something else for a while. And this has been a nice fresh, breath of fresh air. I mean, which is obviously a weird phrase to use when we're talking about Aquaman because we're not breathing there in Aquaman. We're breathing wonderful H2O. But yeah, so what are you giving Aquaman? 47.
I'm giving this one a 9. I really enjoyed it.
Ooh, I liked it a lot. I'll probably go with 8.5. I won't quite go with the 9, but it was really good. Yep. Enjoyed this arc a lot. So that will take us on to the final book of the week.
Ooh, we're trucking right along.
I know, this is a weird show. Naomi issue 4. Brian Michael Bendis and David F. Walker writing with Jamal Campbell on the art. We've been praising this quite heavily, the first 3 issues. So last issue ended with Naomi's father showing her his Ran ship. and revealed who he was. This issue is telling the story of how he came to Earth and who D, the mechanic, is. Because we knew he was Stanagarian, but we find out that Naomi's father was sent to Earth during the war to spy on and find this Stanagarian who'd landed here. And he does find him, and he's surprised that he's just been a mechanic. And then he meets Naomi's mother, and he's kind of enthralled by this Earth woman. And it's basically the plot of Starman to an extent. Like, it's not exactly the same, but there's...
Yeah, he goes native. Like, he's like, yeah, man, I'm not going back. I got a life here.
Yeah. Which, by the way, we should mention, this book is entirely nothing but 2-page layouts. Everything's a 2-pager.
So good.
Everything's a 2-pager. So, and every so often it would cut back to Naomi, and at one point, her mother comes in, and it's like, right, so you're an alien, and he's explaining this. I love the expressions on her face. I loved her reactions to just about everything he was saying, and she kept trying to guess the next thing. She kept trying to guess. So this is where, this is where I came from. And it's like, no, that's not quite right.
No, not quite.
Yeah, stick with me.
So I love that her being here now is tied to the Ranthanagar War, right? Because they're always at odds with each other. And this Deathbringer guy comes here, or not Deathbringer, that's completely different. But this Hawk,
it was
Hawk
like
warrior,
Black Imperial
wingman.
Guard or something like that.
Yeah, he's a wingman. Yeah, he comes here and crash lands, and then gets separated from his love, so he's here by himself. And then now we found out the dad came here following him, and stayed here, falls in love, ends up having the opposite life of D, basically.
Do you know what I really liked about this? It was when Naomi asked to sit in the ship, and the mum's like, I never asked to do that. Is it weird that I never asked to sit in the ship?
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
There's a lot of the parallels going on between those two characters, and then basically stuff starts going down, and they end up having to team up.
Yeah, because what happens is that he's got his cosmic radio device or whatever, and it starts signaling as if something's going on, there's something happening. Mm-hmm. I actually love this. This is a 2-page layout of lots of little boxes. It's basically like a 1, 2, 3, 6. It's a 5x6 grid across 2 pages. A lot of little boxes, and it's basically him waking up to this noise in the middle of the night, and then he goes out in the car to this, like the football field or whatever. I love the suspense here. It kind of built up really nicely, and he's out there and he sees D, and he's like, is he luring him here for something, whatever? Because it almost feels like there's been like an unspoken understanding that both of them just want to live here in peace. So, we're not going to take each other in, we're not going to fight each other. And like D's like, hey, no, I heard this too, I don't know what's going on. And we have these characters who appear through a portal. There's like 3, we'll call them assassins, chasing a woman holding a baby.
She's got some type of staff.
Mm-hmm. And we have people fighting her. Yeah.
Yeah. And so there's this awesome 2-page layout of the action where it took me a second, but you follow it down and then back up instead of back and forth like a normal one is. So it's almost like reading a storyboard of this action. And they team up, and the bad guys, or what looks like the assassins, end up taking out this woman.
Yeah, she dies, and the baby literally, and obviously this is Naomi. I mean, there's no secrets here. Like, goes flying through the air, and Naomi's dad catches her. And D's like, I can't raise a kid right now. I'm not that. And obviously, earlier on in the story, we know that Naomi's parents wanted a kid, and they couldn't have children, and they couldn't adopt because they'd have to explain who her dad is, that kind of thing. So. But it was like a little device. I was thinking of like a crystal with Clark, on the ship kind of thing. And so the final page is just like, okay, what's this device? Maybe it's just a little black box essentially. And she touches it and it lights up, and we see this symbol in her eyes and on this little box. And I'm looking at this and I'm going, that looks a lot like the Black Lantern symbol.
It does. And also that black, it looks like a piece of onyx, which made me think maybe Gemworld, right?
Yeah.
And then I get to this page, and I was like, wait, it's almost completely different. It's actually, it looks it's like a mix between the Black Lantern and the White Lantern symbols, almost. I'm intrigued, because I just thought Black Lantern at first, and then I really kind of looked at it and I went, this kind of looks like a mix between them. It's black with the white lines, but the symbol makes me think of White Lantern more. Yeah, but then you turn it sideways too, and it makes the Legion L, right? with added outbursts to it. So Bendis, I'm giving Bendis a lot of credit for keeping us guessing.
I think that last one's a bit of a stretch, Matt.
That's a bit of a stretch, but still, you know.
So, Joe, I like about this.
I can't let it go that in that to read pile, Bendis had a ton of Legion.
That's true.
So,
Joe, I like about this is that I care about the character, I care about the mystery, the story of how she came here was really fascinating and suspenseful. I liked all that stuff. This ending, like, it reveals something we recognise and we're speculating over, but it by no means answers a goddamn thing. Because I'm looking at this and going, okay, but like, who are these assassins? Where did she come from? Why is there like a Black Lantern style symbol involved? Like, because Black Lantern means death, but it's kind of like a White Lantern. Is it some sort of people who are like they balance life and death? So we get this kind of weird. What's going on? Who are these people?
And you look at even how they're dressed. That like the bad guys. It looks familiar to things I've seen before. But I can't put my finger on it.
Yeah, it is kind of Gem World, and given what he's doing, and obviously Young Justice, maybe it is connected to Gem World, but I don't know.
But also the way she's dressed, it looks like New Genesis, or the New Gods too. Like so, like you said, that was going to be my point. Where we get answers, but we're still not even close to what the true answer is.
What if what if the assassins or soldiers, whoever who are chasing her, are from Gem World, but the mother and child are from New Genesis or something like that? Like, what if they were hiding on Gem World, they were being chased out, and maybe even more severe, maybe they've been hunted for death? Yeah,
because they're speaking English, because that's a big thing that when they land, the mother says, "I won't let them." And the dad's like, "English, who are you? What is that?" And then she just gets blasted. And she has some kind of logo on her too. When you see it, it's almost like a half moon kind of deal. Or like a crescent moon, not a half moon.
Let me investigate. I've already closed it.
Yeah.
Let me investigate this logo.
It's on the page where she gets blasted and the baby goes up in the air. And then the assassins leave. But you see, it looks kind of like a downward-facing crescent moon.
I'm going in big.
Yeah.
Up here. All right, okay, I'm looking at it. Yeah, I can see it.
So they're everything's familiar, but it's not ringing a bell. Which is great.
Looking at this again, I definitely think she's wearing an outfit that comes from a different place than the people chasing her.
Right.
Now, they could be from the same world. It could just be like, this is the soldier's uniform, and this is, whatever she's wearing is whatever. But
I mean, but she's got a staff.
Yeah, that staff's not like. It does make me think a little bit about the Stargirl staff.
So whatever it is, this is the type of cosmic stuff that I like, and I don't even know if it qualifies as cosmic, but it's different.
Well, I mean, we got Ran and Thanagar, so at the very least, it plays a role. Like.
Yeah. Versus what Snyder's doing over in Justice League, where it's like this big grand cosmic. I like this a little bit more because it's a little more.
It's more personal. I care about this character, and the way Naomi's reacting to all this, and the way she's shocked by it, gives it more weight. I care about what's going on because it's heavy to her, and because it's heavy to her, it's heavy to us. And it feels like whatever happens matters because it means the world to her. And I do kind of like the realization here that her parents don't even really know where she's from. Like, to them, she's still a mystery. It's like, yeah, you came from somewhere, but I mean, we have no idea.
Well, and again, it draws parallels to Superman, where they kind of only knew he was from space. It wasn't like there was a letter saying from Krypton. That was all stuff that Clark figured out later.
Yeah, that was Fortress and whatever else later,
Yeah. So they're just like, yeah, you're a kid still, though. And it's very much like that with the parents, and that's why Mom got so mad at Dee, because they're trying to protect her. Because they don't know if these people are going to come back, And Dad's clearly been out of the game for a while.
Yeah, he's got the old man gut. He's let himself go. I like actually because it makes like the way that she reacted with the mum last issue makes a lot more sense now. Like everything kind of clicks into place a little bit in terms of what we've seen so far. So, no, really good, and obviously the art's. I mean, Campbell's been killing it since the start.
It's easy, yeah.
Like I say, like that 2-page layout with the Dad going to like check out the signal. Like there was suspense in that. There was wonderment in Naomi's eyes, like throughout the whole thing. There's these big cosmic ideas.
So the page where Dad sees Mom for the first time. She
Yeah.
got green hair. She's an artist, and he has that dead stop look.
It's so expressive.
Like-
It's like them hugging, them being together, them wanting kids. All
Yep.
that stuff is helped through the art. It really is.
Yep. There's that question earlier about what we'd want to see adapted. I would love for this to be adapted one day.
That's gonna be a
once
cool,
it's all said and done.
I mean,
Like-
not knowing exactly where it's going yet, that's gonna be a movie. This
Yeah.
could easily be a movie.
Yeah.
So certainly once we have like maybe 2 or 3 arcs, and we can say, okay, that's Act 1, 2, and 3 of the movie. But yeah, all right. What are you giving Naomi?
This is a 9.5. Like, I wanted to give it a 10, but like, I give out 10s too often. And the next issue might be a 10, for all I know. But like, the double page spreads, and I never got like, sometimes we would read Detective, and we're like, oh wow, this is just a lot of filler. Like it's taking up page space. I never felt like that.
And we liked that book. It wasn't. I mean, we loved that book, but it did sometimes feel like it was double page spreads for just because.
Yes, I never felt that. I felt like even though it's double page, every panel served a clear and concise purpose to push the story.
Her world's opening up. She's learning more about her own world, so our view is literally widening. So the whole thing being 2 pages, it kind of makes sense. I'm going to give it. I'm going to agree. 9.5.
Oh, nice.
9.5. Fantastic. All right, that is the books, which means we can pick our favorite stuff of the week. It feels so early to be doing this, but yeah. So favorite panel / moment, favorite cover, favorite art, top 5 books. That's what we do at this point in the show. So, what's your panel / moment, Matt?
So I just brought it up. It's the page where the dad sees Mom. There's that whole interaction. Just the look on the face. It's him and Dee like fighting, and then he sees this girl walking through with this bright green hair, and he just is stopped in his tracks. It's so good.
Can't fault it. Mine's is might just be the ending of Naomi. So really, I mean, it's obviously a really obvious pick, but
Yeah.
it's like, wait, the shit. That symbol looks very familiar. What's going on here? Like, it was genuinely surprising in a way that I wasn't expecting. So, yeah, that's my pick. Best cover of the week.
I gotta take a look at them again.
Yeah, well, the
From
variants
where to
aren't
choose from.
the digital versions anymore.
Yeah.
I have to go check Diamond. I mean, it's probably. It's probably Naomi, but
Yeah. Yeah. I was leaning towards Batman, but yeah, the more I look at Naomi and just the coloring on it, oh, man, it looks good.
I mean, that said, the Batman variant of Matina is obviously
It's a little bit too dark for my liking.
That's pretty dark, yeah.
It definitely plays with the blank space and whatnot. So.
So best art of the week then.
Naomi.
Yeah, Naomi.
It was Batman until I had got to Naomi later, like 15 minutes later.
Honestly, like
that was it.
I have no complaints about art this week. We had 4 books, and all of them had good
All
art.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think Campbell takes it. I might actually put Rocha in second place. Actually.
Yeah.
I really like that.
For
the
Aquaman.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's usually top 5 books of the week, but I guess in this case it's just rank the 4. What are you doing?
Number one's Naomi.
Matt, Mike. Almost got to the end of the show. Almost got there.
All right, we good now?
Yeah.
All right. So number one's Naomi. Number 2 is Aquaman. Number 3 is Justice League. Number 4 is Batman. And there's not much of a difference. They're all basically stair-stepped.
Yeah, number 1's Naomi for me. Number 2 is Aquaman. Number 3 is Justice League. Number 4 is Batman. So exact same. I mean, not a lot of room for variation this week.
Nope.
But there you go. So yeah, and I did actually remember this week to ask our wonderful listeners and viewers on the Twitters to what their favourites were. So at Talking Superman, because of course he has to be first, Naomi with 3 exclamation points. I've never experienced such a great balance of raising and answering questions in such a satisfying way.
Huh?
I think we kind of said something probably less eloquent, but we got to that. We kind of that point. Thunder Fury FGC, same sort of thing. For me, it's definitely Naomi 4. It was my only DC book this week, but that's neither here nor there. Well, I mean,
I'm not gonna pick. Yeah, I'm not gonna pick.
Stories developing well. The characters are endearing and relatable. Every issue I read just gets more hype for the next one. Yeah. I mean, did have a couple of picks for Batman. I had one more pick for Naomi, but I had a couple of picks for Batman. At Coverage 241 said, Batman, it was a good nightmare to end with Selina, and we finally saw more of the real world. Even though I still don't know what's going on, so to speak, I enjoyed it. But fair. So Naomi and Batman got a little love. I'm a little upset there was no Aquaman in the responses, because I thought Aquaman was...
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people are reading Aquaman. Like, I just feel like it's one of those books that, and they should. That first arc was really good.
Yeah. But regardless, that's what people thought. So that has been this week's books. I will tell you what's coming next week. Busier week, of course. We have Heroes in Crisis issue 8, second to last issue, penultimate issue. Detective Comics 1002. You weren't here for the last issue, that way?
I wasn't, but it was really good. I'm excited to see where it goes with their... I forget their names.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm
undercover names.
I'm glad you said that, because me and Connor sat down 2 weeks ago for that episode, and we both said we were kind of expecting to not like it and drop the book, and then the issue was really good. And it was like, damn you, Tomasi! Every time I think I'm out.
Oh wait, no, I thought we were talking about action.
No, detective.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm done with. Yeah, no, I'm done with it. I thought I heard action.
No, Detective 1002 was good.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I'm out of tech.
It was actually pretty good. We had all the bats dying all over Gotham, and then...
Yeah. No, I was here for that one.
Oh, were you? Okay.
Yeah. I was here for that one. I wasn't,
Oh, that was last week. That wasn't 2 weeks ago. That's right.
Yeah, that's why when you said that, I was thinking it was action.
Oh, that's right. No, Detective.
Yeah.
Okay.
You confused me when you said Connor, too, and I'm like... Wait, no, Connor doesn't read action.
Yeah, but we do have Action Comics 1010 as well, for the record, which we are enjoying. Wonder Woman 69, we're also really enjoying. Flash 69, we'll see how that goes. Batgirl 34, Justice League Dark issue 10, The Terrifics 15, The Silencer issue 16, Freedom Fighters issue 5, which I am going to read issue 4 before next week, so I can...
Yes, as well you should.
Because it was just a time thing last month.
Yeah.
Dial H,
good fun.
Yeah, Dial H for Hero issue 2 is out. Me and Carl were actually a bit more into that than you, so I think we'll be reading that. But I'm not reading Justice League Dark, obviously, so you can cover that. And then also out, but we're not covering, is Batman Beyond 31. So I think that's everything, unless things have changed and Diamond's going to have surprises. But that's where we are. So yeah, just a couple of quick tidbits actually, because Connor's been sick. Like the first half of Elsewhere should be up already this week, as should Television for the Multiverse be. But again, Connor's been sick the last couple of days. It's delayed a bunch of things, so just bear with us. It'll be up. Those will be up at some point when they can be. Hopefully, we're recording some tonight if he's feeling a bit better. But
he's not dead.
If he's not dead. Yes, but that is the show. That has been Comics from the Multiverse, episode 151, which is probably the shortest episode we've had in like 100 episodes.
A long time.
Yeah, because we're only at like 75 minutes right now. This is short.
I'm not complaining.
And we spent half an hour on questions. It wasn't like we didn't jump straight to the books. This has been a quiet episode. So yeah, I mean, I like a longer episode. I know a lot of you like a longer episode. Next week we'll have a longer episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's been. So of course you can let us know what you thought of the comics this week in the comments. You can like and subscribe. That helps us out a lot. Rate us on the iTunes, your podcast app. You can support us more directly though if you go over to patreon.com/MailFuzzTV. If you want to support us for as little as $1 per month, you get some bonuses. If you're waiting for the monthly episode of Comics from the Multiverse, which is at the $5 tier, we're just waiting until Connor's seen Shazam, because we're going to do Jeff Johns, Gary Frank Shazam. We were planning on doing it before the movie came out, but then when we missed that deadline, it became clear that to have a proper conversation about it, now that I've seen the movie, Connor would have to have seen it as well. So we're just, as soon as he gets to go see it, we're going to record that. But So that's coming up. But otherwise, that's us. Get us on Twitter at DC Comics Podcast. Every week, we'll ask you what your favourite book of the week was, and you get some tweets read out. When there's a quiet week, we'll ask for questions, that kind of thing. And then generally just retweet comic news and whatever else. So that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep reading DC Comics. Joe, I almost went into the wrong outro there. I almost went into my Star Trek outro.
Oh, that's not good. May the force be with you.
And you've never heard this,
No.
Matt. But my Star Trek outro is to everyone but Connor, live long and prosper. I almost said that there.
That's pretty effed up, considering that he's real sick.
Anyway, that has been us. Thank you once again for watching and listening. Much appreciated. Keep reading DC Comics, and remember to never get lost in the Speed Force.